I'm Kate Krieger-Watkins here with Mason County Press, The Scoop, brought to you by West Shore Bank. And today I am joined by Representative Jack O'Malley. Hi, Jack.
Good morning, Kate. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You know, all things considered, I'm doing well.
Good. Yes. This is the first time we've done one of these Zoom interviews. So it's kind of
I'm groundbreaking.
Yeah, you are. You're my guinea pig, if you will. So since we're doing this, let's talk about probably the biggest concern in Michigan right now is the coronavirus.
Yes.
And what's happening in Lansing, and what kind of updates can you give us right now?
Well, I guess what I would tell you is that ask the question, because there are so many facets to this. At this point, I'm not 100% sure when this is going to air and when the new stats will be out. But by way of illness, Southeast Michigan is definitely the hardest hit, and they're dealing with it. Again, I know they're having some issues now with hospital beds down there. They've turned the former, the Cobo Hall, I think it's now the TCF Center. They've turned that, or are turning that, into a field hospital. So, it's tough down there, but I think that they've got a handle on it as best they can. Yeah.
And another big issue that people are worried about is the schools, and kind of we're in limbo here that Governor Whitmer is supposed to be announcing something maybe tomorrow about school closures, but it's more school building closures, because as we were talking about before we started filming, that she could come on tomorrow and say, you know what, we're done.
Yeah,
we're done. We're hopefully going back in September. Or there's a whole nother thing though, closing the buildings but still going distance learning and that kind of thing. So what can you tell us about what's happening with that?
Sure. Again, when the general conversation is, well, they're going to close schools. Well, again, that does not necessarily mean you're done for the year. There are all sorts of angles on this one. Could we continue into the summer? Could we shut them down and then have everybody back in August? I mean, everybody's got an idea, and there's 16 ways to go on that, each idea. So I think general themes are that with the buildings, we would not return to the classroom, and that we would go online and distant learning. Now, a lot of people will say, well, here in rural Michigan, we don't have the capability to go online.
Right.
You're right. And one thing, everybody has questions. It's hard to explain in a quick soundbite, but it would be online. And then the other term you'll hear is distant learning. And that's where the folks without the internet, if you will, fall in. And that would be maybe, depending, I've talked to some superintendents that said, well, maybe they could get a flash drive each week to the kids that they could plug into a computer if they have. But what about the kids that don't have computers? That's the next question.
Right.
They're talking about maybe packets of information that could be delivered to the kids, mailed, or in some cases, I've heard superintendents say, well, we're delivering meals. Maybe that's a perfect time to deliver some of these materials and pick up materials. So
that would actually work out quite well.
Yes. And I think one of the things that I've heard bantied about is that this would not be a one size, everybody does it this way. School districts would be allowed to do this in a way that works for them. Okay. The goal is there, you figure out how to get to the goal.
Well, right. And I mean, no district looks the same.
None.
I mean, you look at like Baldwin compared to Birmingham, completely different. So,
sure.
I mean,
or in this district, Ludington to...
Yeah, I probably should have picked like Benzie Central and, Ludington, or, Traverse City West and Scottville,
Yeah. So, no, you're right. Even in this district, size, shape, coverage, terrain, it's all different.
Yeah. And I mean, even some of the people in Ludington can't get internet. It just depends on where you live. So it's definitely there's still some kinks that need to be worked out for all of this. But I hope that something transpires with it, because I don't,
I,
it makes me sad kind of to think that if she were to come on and just say, it's done. I mean, all the high school seniors, all the college seniors, the kids that were supposed to prep for their senior year next year. My daughter's a kindergartner, so it's kind of like, oh, there goes your school.
well, I guess the thing is, I don't think it's just Thursday or Friday with her announcement. I think seniors would be allowed to graduate and all that good stuff. So obviously, and so so think of it this way: any of the seniors that are out there, they can always say, "You bet we were a part of the class of
Right.
COVID-19."
Like all the 2000 graduates were like, "Yeah, we graduated in 2000." Yeah,
we're the class of COVID.
Class of COVID, right? Yeah. So, and then I want to talk to you about one more thing here.
Sure.
The recent Tippy Dam and fishermen and the whole social distancing, the 6 feet apart. It's people are flocking outside, which, okay, you need to take a walk, you need to do something, but we're noticing a lot of people not abiding by that. You know, you need to stay 6 feet apart, especially out in the wilderness. If you're fishing along, you know, Tippy Dam or something, those guys are kind of like stacked up.
Well,
So,
let me just say, let's not say Tippy Dam is that situation is normal. So what happened is Tippy Dam at this time of year is big for steelhead fishing.
mhm.
Now I'm just as Kate, we're just meeting, so you don't know me, but I tend to be rather straightforward. The steelhead fishermen at Tippy Dam historically have a reputation of being rather brazen. Okay.
Okay.
And this year was no different, but they're standing shoulder to shoulder. And when law enforcement and and out of the stores in Brethren and Wellston and the
Okay.
locals, small
I,
stores, only a couple of them.
I lost
Did
you
I
for a
lose you?
second there. Yeah. So
Okay.
can you start your statement over again?
Oh yeah, you want every bit of this gold. What happened was the fishermen were the steelhead fishermen who already have at this time of year at Tippy Dam already have a reputation that they've earned, and they were now coming in flooding into the stores, and the locals are like, hey, wait a minute here. It was more like opening day of deer season, and it was just that they would not follow the rules. So I wouldn't say people are flooding outside. When I'm out and about, I think people are actually here in the north doing a pretty good job of social distancing, my opinion. But at Tippy Dam, it was a different situation. So they had to close down the recreation area just because of these bad actors. Fishermen as a whole are good-natured, law-abiding, stand a fishing pole distance apart. This bunch, not so much.
They're a crew. They're their own crew, it sounds
Well,
like.
let me tell you, I've heard some from mild-mannered people that I know. I've heard, sorry, I had a message come in, and I didn't want to lose contact. I've heard people that are mild-mannered use words that I could not use on this video to describe that bunch, not fishermen, that bunch.
Gotcha. Okay. So are there any other things that have come up that you want to educate us about in your district, or just remind us about?
Well, I
in
guess
these weird
I would,
times?
yeah, I would say, Kate, I am trying real hard to be a representative. And what I mean by that is, because I can't hold coffee hours and things right now because we can't get together. I'm trying to do my Facebook page. I'm trying to make sure that that is an outreach to people. I'm posting information as I get it, trying to answer questions as they come in. I do a daily video update where I try to explain what's happening. And so I just hope, I want people to know that people are working on it. Sometimes I read some of these messages and basically they say, these dum-dums don't know what they're doing. Why don't they do this?
It's not that easy.
Well, and they are doing it.
Right.
It's just not happened. Or if you do pass, the governor has done some things. I have said, I do not agree with everything the governor has done, but I stand by her because she's the one who's getting all the information. I'm not in that room. So I understand the frustration. I think social media allows people to be Jake Tapper or Rush Limbaugh. or Rachel Maddow or Sean Hannity. They can get on there and they can say what they want. Just everybody needs to just hang in there. I think that good things are happening. This situation, you take issues as they come one at a time.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you don't really know. It's just,
you don't
stay safe, make the right choices.
Yeah. And the state's in the same situation. There's something new that comes up. One of the issues that we're dealing with, of course, there's a lot of fear in the district and across northern Michigan about, what about the folks, the summer residents, if you will, the second homeowners coming up. I've sent off some recommendations from my opinion as to how that should look. So, yeah, I can go on and on about COVID-19.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for joining me today.
You bet. Nice meeting you.
Yeah, you too. And I've been watching your videos on Facebook. It's nice to have daily updates from somebody that is representing us. You can watch the news and be like, oh, that's happening, nationwide, statewide, but it is nice to get that more local thing happening. So,
well, maybe next time when we meet, we'll be able to shake hands.
I'll bring my hand sanitizer. Because I am a Democrat. I hate to say that, but most people who know me know. I'm just joking.
Kate, you know what I say? I love everybody, even if they're wrong. So,
Gotcha. Well, thanks again. I appreciate it. And for any other news, check out MasonCountyPress.com, and we're going to keep you updated as much as we can. Our weather is always brought to you by Smith & Eddy Insurance. So check out Jack's Facebook page if you have internet. Read a newspaper if you don't have internet. Do something to keep safe, to keep educated on the ever-changing COVID-19 status.
Take care.